In a bid to refocus on its mandate and expectations, the National Orientation Agency, NOA, is hosting a 3-day extended management retreat in Abuja. The retreat is geared towards redefining the true Nigerian and inspiring citizens to adopt values that will drive the nation forward. Established by law, NOA is responsible for communicating government policies and programs to the people, as well as ensuring that citizens adopt national core values. During the retreat, the agency will undergo restructuring to build on the foundation laid by the National Value Charter, which defines the true Nigerian and provides platforms for citizens to hold government accountable. This effort aims to ensure that NOA remains committed to realizing good governance in line with the renewed hope agenda. With the development of a new National Value Charter aimed at promoting good governance, NOA is challenged to provide leadership for Nigerians to follow in realizing the nation-building project. The agency is poised to take on this challenge and provide a clear roadmap for Nigerians to adopt the values that will drive this country forward. On Nigeria Today, we are examining the National Orientation Agency's mission to strengthen national values and promote good governance. Our guest will be giving us more insight as to this. Welcome to Nigeria Today. I am Ikaria Clinton. Well, joining us for the conversation tonight is Mr. Olusegun Adeyemi. He's the State Director, National Orientation Agency, Kwara State. You're welcome to Nigeria Today.
Thank you. Good evening for having me.
Now, also joining us for the conversation tonight is Nuru Yusuf Kobi. He's the Director of Plan and Research and Statistics of the National Headquarters of the National Orientation Agency, Abuja. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Good evening, viewers.
Okay, now I'll start with you, Mr. Olusegun. I understand there's a three-day retreat that's ongoing. Can you just tell us a little bit about this retreat before we go into the the main conversation?
Thank you very much. The 3 days retreat is put in place by the Director General, National Orientation Agency, and the entire management of the agency. It is essentially to focus on strategic repositioning of the agency in achieving its mandate. And we know that chief of its mandate is communicating government policies, programs, and activities, and also getting feedback from the citizens on these policies, programs, and activities, as much as to ensure value reorientation and entrench patriotism amongst the people. If this is to be done as expected, NOA has to be repositioned, and the retreat is a time to review the activities, to look at how best the agency can execute its mandate. And this is what has informed the 3-day retreat that is not only for state directors, but for deputy directors all over the country. And it is tagged Extended Management Retreats.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, to you, Nuru, back to our topic today, which talks about strengthening national values. Now, what are these core values, or core national values that, we are talking about strengthening them? So we have to know what these are that binds us as a nation.
Well, thank you very much for this very important question. Actually, one of the core mandate of NOA is reorientation of Nigerians so that they can be able to now properly display the expected values. And these values are what have been put in our constitution and what have been cherished by the various cultures in this country. And actually, this is what we want to bring back now, that Nigeria is a country that has a defined values, and these values are enshrined in our constitutions, and they are part of our culture. Therefore, we should make sure that these values are properly place properly shown by the public so that they can be able to now take them at the right time. So we are now trying to reposition the agency now in such a way that we can be able to advance these national core values. This has to do with issues that has to do with the 747 that we really want to launch in the country. And this has to do with the issue of putting the country in a proper perspective in such a way that we can be able to now go along with the current happenings. So in Nigeria now we have put in place some sort of strategies to carry out this campaign in various local government areas. And the best we thought we should do is to make sure that we train our officers who are working at the grassroots level so that they can now be able to go and properly fit up for the job. And this is exactly what we are now currently taking and doing.
Okay, now back to you, Olusegun. Now we're talking about the core national values. You know, he also talked about some of them. Now, tell us, how has these core values evolved over the years, and are they still relevant in modern day Nigeria?
The core values are aggregate of the norms, aggregate of the accepted mode of behavior within the Nigerian state. It cut across different cultures. For example, hard work, self-reliance, honesty. These are part of our core values, and they are still very relevant. No country can develop or achieve greatness without hard work, patriotism, self-reliance, honesty, and as much as possible, religious tolerance. You know, we have even gone further to say not just religious tolerance, respect for religious beliefs, so as to be able to live in harmony. And what this means is that the National Orientation Agency is bringing these values to the fore. In time past, we have placed it at the doorstep of the citizens, but the National Values Charter is now making it a social contract between the government and the citizens, and it places 7 pillars with the government and 7 pillars with the citizens. The responsibilities of the government that we have coined out as promises, national promises, and this promise includes security. It includes all the aspects that we expect that we make the government to be able to provide leadership in such a way that the citizens will also be able to provide followership, responsive followership. For example, for citizens, we are expected to be citizens that are ready to do our own bidding. We have responsibilities. Many a times we are quick to say government hasn't done this, government is yet to do this. But we often forget as citizens that as citizens we have our own responsibilities. It's a social contract because it is between the government and the citizens. It's not just that the citizen must do this, and must do this. The National Value Charter, put forward by the National Orientation Agency under the leadership, under the able leadership of the Director General, Malam Larry Issa Onilu, is now bringing to the table the role of the government and the role of the citizens in achieving greatness in the task of nation building. And we must face this squarely as a people if we are going to get out of the woods. We cannot sit on the fence. Government has its own role. Citizens have our own role. And that's just the whole essence of the National Value Charter. It's a charter because it's a contract between the people and the government. There's a list of 7 pillars on both sides. And these are what we will be examining at this retreat that has brought the entire management of the agency down to Abuja, both at the national headquarters and at the state level.
So, no, he talked about 7 charters for government, 7 pillars for government,
and for the citizens.
And for the citizens, also have
citizens
7
commitment.
Okay.
The citizens code.
Okay. Now, you tell us more about these pillars, so that we really know, so that citizens will know what their roles. He's talking about the roles, right?
Exactly.
Now, what their roles should be, and of course, we also want to know the role of the government in all of this.
Well, in the actual sense, when you talk of the values, you are talking about the expectation of the general public from the government representatives, both elected and those who are appointed. And these values are some of the expectation from these leaders that in the previous campaign, what is obtainable is that the campaign usually draw more on the followers and leave the leadership aside. But this time around, the campaign is taking both the followers and the leadership. So in case of the leadership, what are the expectations that you are supposed to show? Some of the issues that have been mentioned by my colleague, that you as a leader, you first of all have to lead by example. You have to display certain qualities of leadership that people will look at you and learn from you. And then at the same time, you should also try to help other people under your care. You should be sort of you should have duty of care. You should tend to care for others. You should also consider what they are doing, and you should also make sure that they are doing the right thing. So also as a followers, you should also be very, very patriotic in nature. You should abide by the rules, regulation, and make sure that you don't go against the regulations in the society. So these are some of the issues that will be seen along in the course of carrying out this campaign in our various locations across the country.
Okay. Now back to you, Olusegun. You talked, about the importance it is, how important it is, for these core values to be upheld. Now, you also mentioned some things there, some of the core values. You talked about respect for religious beliefs. You talk about religious tolerance. You talk about hard work. If you can see that you'll agree with me that in our today world, some of these things are gradually eroding. Some persons want to make it at all costs. They no longer believe in hard work. They just want it quick, especially the younger generation. So how important is it to strengthen these national values in our today world?
Thank you. It is the importance of this that has informed what the National Orientation Agency has put together now. By the time we come together, we review the activities of the agency. We look at what is actually responsible for some of this get-rich syndrome and some of the negative tendencies. We now look at how best can we reposition the agency in such a way that a campaign and a strategic movement will be put in place. People want to get rich, regardless of hard work or no hard work. People don't believe that they must work hard to earn their living.
As I guess what it used to be back in the days.
In time past, if you buy a car, you have to explain where you got the money from. But these days, people just want to see you get rich. And these are part of the moral decadence that the National Orientation Agency is waging a serious war against. We should be accountable. Our leaders should be transparent. And it is in the transparent leadership that we can find followership that are also patriotic and are willing to do their own aspect in the task of, nation building. So why are our people interested in getting rich quick? It's a major problem that has eaten deep into our society, and it's not supposed to be. One of the reasons why we can probably say is responsible for it is the fact that people see how some corrupt leaders have made money that they cannot really account for. And they think that, particularly the young one, they think that, okay, they can go into internet fraud and all of this and make money. These are social vices that the National Orientation Agency is poised to wage a war against. We have to reorientate our young ones, the society at large, that you have to work hard for what you earn, for what you have. It's not get rich quickly. And this is part of what has made it difficult for us to develop as a country. People are not embedded, they are not grounded, but they come about money in different ways. And corruption is a major problem too. So we believe that National Orientation Agency is coming up out of this retreat, in addition to other aspects of our national life, to fight issues like this by going out there to reorientate our people, that you have to work for what you have. You can't get rich quick. It amounts to nothing. Those who are after getting rich quick, they do such things with criminal minds. You work here today, you know your salary, and we all know how we graduate gradually from to the through the ranks.
Yes, thank you very much. We'll take a short break now. The conversation will continue after the break. Don't go away.
The implementation of the ruling is also dependent on another aspect or another arm of government.
Nowhere in the world will allow, under digital economy, for banks not to be dispensing domestic currency in that economy.
What will make this one different? We want to know what they do as occupation. All of these are attributes that our questions have been designed to investigate.
In a few days to come, you see that we are all around their own crannies and everywhere in Nigeria, telling people to cooperate.
Welcome to Nigeria Today.
Welcome back. In case you're just joining us, this is Nigeria Today, and we are looking at strengthening national values. Of course, I have with me here in the studio two gentlemen from the National Orientation Agency. Now, Nduru, Olusegun earlier mentioned, some of the moral decadence we have been faced with in the society, and you know that. Like you mentioned, the younger generation, there is no one that comes out without being part of a family. Now that brings us to the next question. What role do family units play, in instilling national values into, especially, the younger generations?
Well, the family is the first place of contact for any child. Therefore, they have the sole responsibility of socializing their children, trying to culture them to behave very well. And whatsoever you see a young man doing in the community actually is part of the socialization he has received at home. So therefore, the parents have a very important responsibility of ensuring their children behave very well. Therefore, the parents are the first place of contact for any child, who must see to the upbringing of their own children and make sure that they behave very well, they respect the elders at home and in the community, and make sure that they are not involved in any social calamity that will lead to a sort of that one may term it as the child misbehaving. Therefore, the family as a first place of contact, are supposed to first of all start disciplining their own children, and just like is obtainable in those days, that every father, every mother see to the upbringing of their own children and make sure that they behave normally. And so also their brothers also have a responsibility to also ensure that every child behave in the normal way. But what is obtainable now is that the discipline of children have been left in the hands of their mothers. Mostly the fathers used to leave home to work early in the morning, and they will not come back until late in the night. So the discipline of the children are left in the hand of the mothers alone, and the mothers cannot do that, because if the child goes out of home, definitely he will be out of sight to the mother, and there is no way he can be able, she can be able to know what the boy is doing outside. So the family, the first place that should ensure that the children behave very well, and it has to be the responsibility of everybody in the community, not only the parents themselves, unlike what is obtainable now. In those days, any child that tried to misbehave outside home, you know, the whole parents will, the entire community will be up on him to make sure that he is disciplined.
Okay, now, I'll have to stop you here. Okay. Now, you just raised an issue. A very important point here, talking about the community. Now, back to you, Olusegun. Now, you raised an issue earlier on. You raised a point earlier on. You said people are in a hurry, especially the younger ones. They're in a hurry to make money, in a hurry to buy car. In those days, when you buy a car, people would want to know, how did you make the money? If they are not really sure about how the money came, they want to know, how did you make the money? But in today's world, you see somebody or a young boy, probably of 19, 20, 21, buying a very expensive car, and instead of questioning his, the source of income, they'll rather give him chieftaincy title in the villages. Even in churches, they will applaud him and even want to give him some kind of positions. So that brings me to my next question. What is the responsibility of the traditional institutions and our religious institutions in trying to uphold national values?
Thank you very much. The traditional rulers are the custodians of our culture and the people, and they have the norms and values well on their fingertips. It is expected that what you make, what you have, you should be able to account for how it is produced, how you have gotten it. But unfortunately, the mindset has changed. It's all about making it, having the essentials of life. How? And that's why people can go and still take the proceeds and go and do Thanksgiving. And unfortunately, religious leaders are not aware, but they believe it is prayer. And we have found in some cases where some religious leaders have also compromised.
Thank you.
And that is to say that we have a lot to do about our mindset and about the faith that we uphold. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olusegun. I think this is where we draw the curtain for today's episode of Nigeria Today. Very big thank you to Mr. Olusegun Adeyemi. He's the State Director, National Orientation Agency, Kwara State. Thank you so much for your time and your contribution. And also we had Mr. Nuru Yusuf Kobi. He's the Director, Planning, Research and Statistics in the National Orientation Agency of the headquarters here in Abuja. Thank you so much for your time and your contribution. And thank you for being part of the program. Don't forget, Nigeria Today airs every weekdays at 7:30 p.m. on Nta News24. You can also watch a repeat of this program by 10 p.m. tonight, as well as other episodes on www.youtube.com/NTA News24 Hub. I am your carrier, Clinton. Thanks for watching.